Hey, you guys. Wanted to talk about the world of difference between soul submitted to spirit and spirit soul equality. So, when I left Christian fundamentalism, I thought I was entering at first something completely new in the universal Christ mind or the God core in all religions, because the wording, the phraseology, the semantics were new. They were different. I thought if it was, we all thought if it was a different wording, it must be something completely new. It was new to our minds. It was ancient Buddhism, ancient Hinduism. It was Kabbalah. It was a lot of, or even a lot of us went to Chem, Egyptian spirituality, and we thought we'd enter into something that was so completely new from Christian fundamentalism. But when we would go in Christianity, we would go into our room if we're going through a crisis and send high praises to God and just keep that worship, that dance, that raise the vibration thing until the negative emotion, the crisis was snuffed into unawareness. And so then in New Age, we would just meditate and think and just visualize until the negative emotion was snuffed out into the realm of unawareness. But you can't destroy energy, and it seeps up later in life in the long game and comes out in another way. It could come out as an illness or as you as a control freak, or some people became sex addicts, whatever it was. Uh, we found out that you don't actually snuff anything out. The energy is still there. It's just now in a resentful, disowned form because you raised the vibration and thought about the positive outcome only. And the thing is, there are miracles. Everything works the way it's designed to work. But we don't know what we don't know. In the age of Aquarius that we're coming into, the spirit soul equality is going to be a world apart, a world of difference. So I would have said, if somebody would talk like me to the version of myself in 2007, for example, I would have said, oh no, I treat my human self very good. I take myself out to dinner and a movie, once a week. I treat myself to the occasional fine cigar. I drink high quality espresso in the morning. I treat myself very good. It wouldn't have made any sense to me, but it really is a world apart. Everything, I was doing all that, but everything in the personal self and the human self was submitted to the higher self. We were throwing shade at the human self, the soul realm, as bad filters, the lesser self, the lesser light. The or in the New Age, some groups would even say that it's non-existent or it's of a victim consciousness. Stereotypes is what it is. Just like white people throw stereotypes at black people, we in the progressive spirituality community threw shade or stereotypes at the personal self, the human, the soul body fusion, which is the human daily grind, the mundane self. The higher self is all we focused on because we said the eternal spirit is the real me. But I would learn later in life that integration is a far greater victory than victory. Let me say it again. Integration is a far greater victory than victory, because in victory, in stomping the human emotions, the negative feelings about things going on, pain is an indicator of something you need to fix. But if all you do is snuff it into the realm of unawareness, that's victory, because now all you feel is the bliss of the presence of spirit. But when you can't change energy. So when you integrate, so let me just show you a diagram here. So here's the spirit vision. I the Lord know the end from the beginning. Here's what the angst of what you're going through. When you bring them together as equals, there's the sperm and the egg. Impregnation occurs, and a third kind of beingness, just like a sperm and an egg come together in the womb, and it creates a third being. So there's the man and the woman, and then the baby is born as a third kind of being that has attributes of both, hopefully the best of both, right? And that's what I found when I stopped submitting my right brain to my left brain, stopped submitting my soul to my spirit, and fused them together as equals. That I would bring my most conscious awareness, the light of my most conscious awareness, the thing that sees the positive end result, calls those things which be not as though they were, as it says in Hebrews. And then the process center, the human part of me, that sees everything going on at ground level, and pain is an indicator the need to fix it. If you have a broken arm, there's pain because you need to fix that broken arm. If you take a pain reliever, you don't have the awareness of the pain, but now you're going to get gangrene. See, so that's the fall of all the great famous preachers and all the local pastors in all your cities. That's the fall and the scandal and Republican Christians are being arrested for sex crimes like in droves now. If you look on Julie Roy's, it's her page is just a tiny fragment, but it's very eye opening when you see that. It's not just Catholic priests; it's everywhere, and that's just the sexual deviance part. I've met thought leaders that left fundamentalism, went into the same exact formula, spirit over soul. They don't call it sin nature; they call it ego. But ego is the sense of self, the holy grail of the decision maker, the critical thinking skills where you can make a decision whether this wheat and chaff is worth staying in, or if the chaff that has been matured with the matured wheat that you're now harvesting through maturity, is this a hologram spirit that I want to stay submitted to, or do I need to create a new God, a new hologram, a new spirit? Eve gave the new fruit to Adam and he did eat. In other words, that's both are you. Eve and Adam are both you, spirit and soul. So Eve is the part of us that has the power of choice. Adam didn't have a choice. He only had a choice because Eve bore that fruit. She gave birth through the serpent of wisdom, a new fruit, a new God. So let's say they were in the garden of legalism, a jealous God, Yahweh in the cool of the day, or the spirit of that era. And she gave the fruit, gave birth to the fruit of perfect pitch spirit identity. No works involved, no fear, no pressure, no being scared of God. And he did eat, Adam did eat also, means that she created, the human part of you created a new spirit, a new identity of God, a new way of seeing God, a new way of looking at God, a new conceptualization of God. And Adam did eat also. Now you have a new spirit. Now it's grace theology. Now then you go into universalism and you see it's the same thing. It's all of those religions lead to the same result: spirit dominating over the soul and body. The high vibration of the ethereal part of you is considered superior over the human appetites, opinions, etc. So the five natural senses are considered less or not even important at all. You just focus on the five spiritual senses. Okay. So when I put them together, then that third beingness was created. This was probably around 2017 through 2020. 2022 is when the fruit really bore in fullness, and I was able to really speak about it. Did any of the New Thought leaders come with me? No. Because they would say, you're mischaracterizing us. We don't do that. We don't teach anything unhealthy. Well, the same things that John Hagee and Franklin Graham would say to the New Thought leaders is what the New Thought leaders would say to people like me. You got us wrong. You're misinterpreting what we're saying. I've never heard of such things. And I'm like, what the New Thought leaders would say to Franklin Graham was, no, that is what you're saying. We're quoting you. And I could quote some of the New Thought leaders, the progressive Christians, the Universalists. I would quote them and say, no, this is what you're saying. This is what you practice. I know, because I brought it through to fruition. I took it seriously and I worked it till it was in fullness. I saw the wheat, chaff, and I created a new kind of fruit, spirit and human equality. That's a fusion that requires no submitting. You don't submit it. You just change the form of the angst and the negative energy. You change the form. When the light and the darkness come together, they're no longer light and darkness. They're a third kind of beingness that has the best of the processing center that you're going through, where you see what's going on at ground level, what you see what needs to be fixed. You don't say, oh, the blood covers me, and so God doesn't see my sin, I can just keep sinning. You don't say of people who are sincere, if someone you've been admiring for many years, you say, this person can speak into my life, and then they speak into your life and say, so, this is, since you're asking me, here's something that I see probably needs to change, and then you cut them out of your life because the finished work of the cross, and I'm perfect as I am, and well, the finished work and seeing your final form is so that you can make those changes without guilt, without condemnation. You can make those changes in joy, knowing that go through that cross, despising the shame for the joy that is set before you. So what's been happening is people are using the ideas of I'm perfect as I am, which is true. The acorn is perfect. It doesn't need to be an oak tree. The acorn is perfect as is. But its purpose is to grow and become an oak tree. So if you hear Jesus say it is finished, that's so that you can grow into what you already are in spirit. And once you hit that fullness, you see the wheat and the chaff, and then Revelation 21